Switching back to the business of it all, man. You go through your, journey professionally, building a company with you, your brother, your dad, and you get to a point when you sell it. And I'm looking again at all of those traits that you had as an entrepreneur, right? Being resilient, being persistent. You had to convince your dad to go big, right? And then when he took a few months off, and you finally went and did it behind his back, and you sent your friend to go tell him, persistence. And you also had to convince the Miller family to sell to you, right? Persistence, because they said no at first, and you kept going, persistence. How big is that, and how big will that persistence be as you take this organization, this community asset, and try to get them back to the NBA Finals? Where the last time they were there, a guy named Michael Jordan kind of derailed him.
Yeah, no, he like it's. I mean, you first of all, I think you have to believe.
Yeah.
Like you have to believe, like truly, that you can do it, and I think that, and you've got to be fortunate. Like I think in tech and not only in the rest of life, like you've got to be a little lucky. And if I look at the Qualtrics journey, like, yeah, we were persistent, we worked hard, we had a great team, but we were also super fortunate. And timing was really, really, really critical to a lot of different things. And I think, with the Miller family, timing was everything. And for whatever reason, we had established a great relationship, and Gail believed that we would keep it in Utah and help build Utah. And there's a lot of timing that has to line up for that. And but you have to be around. You have to be ready in those moments to be able to make something go. And so, look, it's early days. If you look at the organization and where we're at, and some of the moves we made, and bringing Danny Ainge in, and how we're kind of building the team out, Coach Hardy, it's pretty exciting. I mean, I think we're having a lot of fun, and we're locked in, and it all translates to all-star and everything we're trying to do with the Jazz and the community.
Yeah. And you mentioned Will Hardy, Danny Ainge. Definitely want to ask you about Will Hardy. Got a friend of mine, covered him in San Antonio. And you know what? I got a chance to really know Will Hardy at. And when I was, preparing for this interview, I said, damn, me and Will really developed a relationship. And you know where that happened at? In Utah, because he was a summer league coach. And I went out there all the time. And that's when I really got a chance to see him develop and know. So it's good that he's out there. But when you look back at the business side of it, right? You got Will, you got Danny, and you also got Delta back on the building. Yeah. What was the decision behind that? Because when I got notified that y'all were going to be making this big announcement, I'm like, okay, what is it? I didn't think that Delta was going to come back. Why did you decide to go down that route?
So first of all, I grew up going to the Delta Center.
Yes.
I mean, you think of The Last Dance, like that was it. And I think that if you look at a lot of arenas, like it seems like the memories go away when the name changes. And we'd done a bunch of work with Delta on Qualtrics, and I was sitting in the meeting with Ed Bastian, their CEO, and Ed and I had built a pretty fun relationship, and we decided to go to a game in Atlanta, and it was a Jazz game, and it was a couple of years ago, and he told this amazing story that I didn't know. That, post 9/11, the whole airline industry was in trouble, and they had had to do some restructuring, and Ed wasn't the CEO, he was the restructuring officer, and had to decide of all the contracts, which ones they needed to take a pause on or break in that moment. And every airline was going through this, and the Delta Center was one. And he said, I've never forgotten that. And now that I'm CEO, like if there's ever a chance to like come back at this, like I want to make that right. And you can imagine from my standpoint, growing up with the Delta Center, like, wow, no one ever goes back. Like no one ever goes back. Like, what if we could bring that back? And it was a 2-year process. We were working with our partners that were there, and we had a moment where we were able to do it. And that's probably one of the coolest moments I've had so far, is to be able to bring that back. I just got back from a luncheon with Karl Malone and Frank Layden, and the first things out of their mouths were the Delta Center's back, the Delta Center's back. Like that, it means a lot. And it's the name, but it's also all of those memories for all of us. And all the people that were there. to be able to do that. And to have it start next year at our 50th anniversary, I mean, you can't make it up.
No.
Like, this stuff is like, it's incredible. And so, and it happened in such a nonchalant, organic way of Ed saying, hey, this is big. Now, if you look at it, that was, forever ago when they pulled that out. And now if you fast forward, Delta's made like a $3 billion commitment into the new airport. Like, they're expanding. They have 5,000 employees in a time when they didn't know if they were going to be in Salt Lake. Like, no airline knew what was going to happen. It's a pretty cool part of the story. And to be able to have that connection now from the airport to the arena, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. I saw he said that we're never leaving again, right? So the next 30 years when the All-Star Games comes back, it's going to be at the Delta Center, right?
So someone asked him in the media, and before I could even get a question in, because I wasn't going to get into contract details, he threw that out. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's good to see because, as you said, it's an iconic arena when you think of the NBA moment.